I didn't understand the weight of her words until the day she came back. Europe with her friends. When she left for Europe with her friends, it felt like the beginning of something, but it was only the beginning of the end. She came home to a silence that spoke louder than any argument we'd had before. I was never the type to question her decisions. She needed space, and I gave it to her, though it wasn't easy. Alone with our 1-year-old daughter, I learned what it meant to be on the edge of something unspoken, between expectation and inevitability. But when she came back, nothing about our lives would ever be the same. I had done something I thought I was ready for, but in the quiet of our home, I realized maybe I wasn't. The sound of her voice, soft and steady, still echoes in my mind. "I need space," she said. Just those 3 words, simple, almost casual, but it felt like they hit me harder than any argument we'd ever had. She didn't look at me when she said it. Her focus was on the suitcase, the one sitting open on the bed, ready to be filled. I remember how the room felt too quiet. I had heard her voice before, of course, but this time, something in it was different. There was no anger, no raised voices, just a hollow finality, a calm that could be mistaken for peace. But I felt it, the weight of those words sitting between us, too heavy for anything to be said after. "Space," she repeated, like it was something simple, something we could manage, but the weight of it lingered. The suitcase still lay open on the bed, her clothes already folded neatly inside, each piece in place as if this was just another trip. But it wasn't just another trip. It was the first time I truly understood that she wasn't coming back the same. I nodded. It was easier than saying anything else, easier than asking her to stay. Easier than showing her the panic that started to rise inside me. My smile felt wrong, like it didn't belong there, but I kept it steady, kept it polite, because arguing felt. I watched her fold the last shirt, smoothing the wrinkles with the flat of her hand. Each motion was deliberate, like she was arranging the pieces of something she was about to leave behind. My throat felt tight, but I couldn't bring myself to say anything more. And then she paused, her back to me, her hand still on the suitcase. The soft click of the zipper was the only sound in the room. She turned to me then, and for a second our eyes met. She didn't say anything, but I saw something in her eyes, the faintest trace of something unspoken. A goodbye, maybe, but she didn't say it. "And I'll be back soon," she said, though the words sounded hollow, like they weren't meant to reassure me but to make her feel better. And I knew she meant it, but I also knew she wasn't coming back the same. I smiled again because it was all I could do. "Take your time." She didn't look at me again. She grabbed her suitcase, wheeling it toward the door, each small movement somehow echoing louder than the last. The door closed behind her with a soft click, and then the silence wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. I sat there for a long time after. The house felt too big, too empty. It felt like the walls were slowly closing in on me. I didn't move, I couldn't. I just sat there, listening to the quiet. My daughter, asleep in her crib, stirred lightly, but the sound of her little breaths only made the silence around me louder. The clock ticked, but I didn't feel it. Time didn't matter in that moment. I could hear the sounds of the house settling. The floorboards creaked under their own weight, like they remembered something I didn't. I tried to focus on my daughter, on the softness of her skin, the slow rise and fall of her chest. But even that felt like something I was only half a part of. I stood up slowly, cradling her against me. She shifted in her sleep, her tiny hands grasping at the air as though searching for something. I kissed the top of her head, her warmth pulling me back into the moment. But even her warmth couldn't stop the chill that had settled in my chest. I walked to the window, careful not to wake her. The sky was fading from blue to gray, the evening creeping in. The street was empty and the trees outside swayed in the wind. The silence was too much. It felt like I could hear every leaf rustle, every car passing by, every distant noise from the world outside. But none of it reached me. I kept thinking about what she had said. Space. It wasn't the first time I'd heard the word, but now it felt too final. I looked out the window longer than I should have. I wasn't sure what I was waiting for. Her return? A sign that everything would be okay again, but there was nothing. Just the quiet stretching endlessly before me. When I turned away, I saw it, the suitcase still sitting by the door. It seemed smaller now, almost insignificant, but I couldn't stop staring at it. It was a symbol now, a marker of something I couldn't name. I felt the urge to pick it up, to open it, but I didn't. I walked back to the couch instead and sat down with my daughter still in my arms. The house felt so still now. Nach Schuldeper now from the Reinschren. Too still. I couldn't help but wonder if I'd been the one to push her away. Could I have stopped her from leaving? Could I have done something different? But it didn't matter now. She was gone, and all I had was the silence. Hours passed, though it didn't feel like it. How didn't change? How The sun disappeared, leaving the room cold and dark. I could hear the faint hum of the refrigerator, the occasional creak of the house settling, but nothing else. My daughter stirred again, her small hands brushing against my chest, and I tightened my hold on her. She was the only thing I had left that felt real, the only thing that made the silence bearable. But as I sat there in the dark, I couldn't shake the thought that maybe everything had already changed, that even in her absence she had left a mark on this place that I wouldn't be able to erase. I kissed my daughter's head once more and let the silence wrap around us. Maybe it was always going to be this way, maybe I had always known she needed something I couldn't give, and now the house was empty in ways I couldn't even understand yet. But I wasn't ready to face that yet. The suitcase was still there, waiting, and for some reason I didn't want to look at it. The night stretched on, slow and endless, and the only thing I knew for certain was that nothing would ever feel the same again. I turned off the lamp, the darkness swallowing everything, and I held my daughter tighter, as if somehow I could hold on to the pieces of a life that was slipping away. The room is darker than I expected. I hadn't noticed how the light had slipped away from the windows, how the shadows had crept in until now. It feels colder than it should. The air, thick and still, lingers like something unspoken. Our daughter sleeps soundly in her crib, her little chest rising and falling in rhythmic peace, unaware of the shift in this house. I can hear the soft rustling of the sheets, the faintest hum of the night, but everything else feels too still, too quiet. I sit on the couch, the one spot that's always been hers and mine. But now it feels unfamiliar, like I'm sitting in someone else's life. My fingers trace the worn edge of the cushion, the fabric soft from years of use. It's strange how the smallest things can start to feel like they belong to someone else when everything else has changed. The dim light from the lamp casts long shadows against the wall. They stretch out as if they want to fill the space, but there's too much empty air between them. I look over at the clock. It's late. The hours move differently now. When she was here, they passed in a blur, the sound of her voice, the motion of her hands, the way she moved through the space. But now, every second is a weight, pulling me further away from the moment we shared before she left. I try to remember the last time we sat together, really sat together, when the room didn't feel so full of unsaid things, when the air wasn't so heavy, and the silence didn't press against me like it is now. But I can't place it. It's like searching for something lost in the fog, something I'm afraid I won't find. I look at our daughter again. Her small face is peaceful in the soft glow of the nightlight. I wonder, if she knew what had happened, would she sleep like this? Were Baranafanat or Abagray, or would she feel it too, the emptiness? I wonder if she feels the space between us now, even in her sleep. But no, she doesn't. She doesn't know. I force myself to shift my gaze away from her. I don't want to wake her. I don't want to disturb the calm she holds, but it's hard to ignore it. Hard to ignore the quiet, the way it presses against me. It's like the house is listening to me, waiting for something I don't have the words for. The door to the bedroom is slightly ajar. The faintest sliver of light spills from the hallway, cutting across the floor. I try not to look at it, but I do. I see her absence in the way the door stands there, the way the bed feels too empty. I wonder what she's doing now. If she's on a plane already, or if she's standing somewhere looking out at a view that's far from here. She told me she needed space. I remember her words soft as she said them, like they weren't meant to sting, but they did. Maybe I should have argued. Maybe I should have asked her to stay, or told her how I felt, how hollow her leaving made me feel. But I didn't. I just nodded, because the silence between us was easier than the words that could have come. The weight of her decision is settling in now, sinking into me like a stone dropped into still water. I can almost hear the quiet ripples in my chest, each one a reminder of how much space she's taken. How much space we've taken without even realizing. I reach for the glass of water on the table, my hand trembling just slightly. I can feel the coldness of the glass against my palm. It's strange how small things feel so much larger now, even the simplest things, even the water in my hand. The floor creaks under me as I sit back, the noise almost too loud in the quiet. I take a sip, but I don't feel it. I don't feel anything. I close my eyes for a moment, trying to steady my breath, trying to find something in the stillness. But it's like I'm drowning in it, the space between us too vast to ignore. How did we get here? How did it get this quiet? I set the glass back down. The weight of it isn't enough to ground me. The room, the house, feels like it's waiting for something. Or maybe it's waiting for me to make a choice. I wonder if I could have stopped her. If I could have held on to her longer, pulled her back before the door closed behind her. I wonder if I could have done more, but I don't know. I don't know if I would have changed anything. Hey, I get up slowly, the floor creaking under my feet. I stand by the window, looking out at the street. The world is still moving out there. The streetlights flicker in the distance. A car drives by, its headlights cutting through the night, but it's too far away to matter. It doesn't reach me. Nothing out there feels close enough to touch. Kane, I look at the sky, the faintest hint of stars hanging above. They don't feel like stars anymore. They feel like the distant things I can't reach, like her, like the space between us. I turn away from the window, my hand brushing against the wall as I walk back to the couch. I sit down again, this time closer to the crib, closer to our daughter. She shifts in her sleep, her small body turning toward me. I feel the warmth of her skin against mine as I lean in to kiss her forehead. She doesn't wake, but I wonder if she can feel the change, too. The room is so quiet now. The air, thick and full, clings to me. The silence is too much, but it's all I have. I wonder when she comes back if we'll still know each other, or if the quiet will fill every space between us too, but for now, I just hold her. I let the quiet settle around us, and I wait because I don't know what else to do, and maybe that's enough for tonight. The house is empty, and yet it feels full of things that aren't said, of things that might never be said, but that's all right for now. For tonight, it's enough. And the silence stays, the days bleed into each other, the clock ticks, but I don't hear it anymore. I only feel it, the passage of time slipping through my fingers like water. The sun rises and sets like it always has. The neighbors talk. I hear their voices through the walls, but they sound distant now, like they're speaking in a language I can't quite understand. It's like the world outside is still turning, still moving forward, but I'm stuck in a room waiting for something that doesn't want to be found. The house feels like a shadow of itself. It's quieter now, emptier. The silence is louder than it's ever been. My daughter, a small bundle of joy, keeps me busy. Her laughter, soft, sweet, fills the space in ways I didn't know I needed. But even her joy feels muffled. It's like it's coming from a different room, one just out of reach. Her little hands grasp at things with a curious wonder. But the world she's discovering is different now. It's not the same one we shared. I try to hold on to the moments. I watch her as she giggles at the toys I lay out for her. I try to remember when it felt easy, when the sounds of the ... day didn't feel like they were coming from someone else's life. But the laughter, though it fills the room, doesn't fill the space she left behind. I walk through the house, my steps echoing on the hardwood floors. I try not to notice the small things, but they're hard to ignore. The coffee table just slightly askew, like it's waiting for someone to set it right. I could fix it, but I don't. I don't know why. Her perfume still lingers in the air, faint but familiar. It's not overpowering, just a soft trace of something that once filled this place with life. I breathe it in, but it feels like I'm breathing in memories instead of air. I wonder if she can still smell it, wherever she is. I wonder if she even thinks of this place, of the space she left behind, or if she's forgotten it, wrapped in the newness of everything that's out there. I want to ask myself why it's all slipping away. What was it about her leaving that made everything feel like it was changing in ways I can't grasp? But I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with the pieces of this life, scattered around the room like fragments I can't put together. I look down at my daughter, her tiny hands now holding a stuffed bear, her favorite. She stares at it for a moment before pressing it to her chest. I smile, but the smile doesn't reach my eyes. It's the same smile I've been giving her every day, the one that says everything's okay, even though I don't believe it myself. She doesn't notice the weight of it, the unspoken truth in the air. She's too young to know the difference, but I wonder, one day, if she'll feel it. If she'll sense the space between us even when we're sitting side by side. I walk past the hallway again toward the bedroom. The door is slightly cracked open, just like it was the day she left. I stop for a moment, my fingers brushing against the doorframe. I can't bring myself to go inside. The bed is made, the sheets smoothed out, but the emptiness is still there, hovering over it like it's waiting for her to return. I reach for the light switch, but my hand lingers in mid-air. Something stops me. I don't know what I'm hoping for, but I don't turn it on. The room stays dark, just like the space around me. I'm learning to live with the silence, or maybe it's learning to live with me. Our Pringperhaster icon. It fills the spaces where she used to be. It's in the way I pick up her forgotten book from the coffee table, the way I hold it, and for a moment it feels like she's still here. But then I put it down again, and the silence returns, louder than before. I walk to the kitchen, the fridge hums softly in the background. I open it, pulling out a bottle of water. I stare at the label for a moment, the small, mundane task grounding me. It's strange how these little moments, these routine actions, start to feel like the only thing left that makes sense. I close the fridge door, and as I do, I catch a glimpse of the calendar hanging on the wall. The days are marked off, one by one. Each square a reminder that time is passing, even though it feels like it's standing still. I pause, staring at the date. It's been weeks now, weeks since she left. I can feel the weight of it, the slow crawl of days and nights, stretching on without anything to break the monotony. I walk back to the living room, where my daughter is still playing on the floor. She's reached for another toy, her tiny fingers grasping at the shapes, her eyes wide with fascination. She doesn't see the things I see. She doesn't understand the change, but I can't help it. I see everything. The house is the same, and yet it's not. There are little things that remind me of her, little marks of a life that feels distant now. I wonder how long it will take for me to stop noticing them. Or maybe I won't ever stop. Maybe these small things will always be reminders of what's missing. I sit down beside her, pulling her into my lap. She rests against me, her small head fitting perfectly into the crook of my arm. The weight of her is comforting. But even in this moment, there's a part of me that's still missing. I wonder if she were here, would I feel this way? Would I still feel the distance, the quiet? Or is this just how things are now, how they've always been? The silence in the house settles again, but I hold my daughter a little tighter. I close my eyes, and for just a moment I can almost pretend that nothing has changed. But when I open them again, everything is still the same. The soft glow of the nightlight flickers against the walls. It's a quiet, steady light, the kind that makes shadows feel gentle, like they're part of the room instead of an intruder. I'm sitting beside her crib, watching as she drifts into sleep, her breath slow and even. Her tiny hand curls in and out, clutching at the soft blanket. I should have left the room by now. The night is heavy, and I've done this routine 100 times, tucked her in, kissed her forehead, and stepped away. But tonight I linger. I don't know why. My hand rests on her back just for a moment longer than usual. Her skin is warm beneath my fingers, soft. The rise and fall of her chest feels like a pulse against my palm. I wonder if I close my eyes, Tefn Ten Foreman, if I can hold onto this moment forever. The weight of her in my arms, the quiet, the peace. But I can't. I pull my hand away, but the silence lingers. It's the kind of silence that wraps around you, thick and suffocating. I stand up slowly, the floor creaking under me like it remembers something it shouldn't. I look down at her one last time before I leave the room. She stirs, just slightly, and for a second, I wonder if she knows what's missing. If she feels the gap that's opened between us even as she sleeps. I want to ask myself why it's all slipping away. What was it about her leaving that made everything feel like it was changing in ways I can't grasp? But I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with the pieces of this life scattered around the room like fragments I can't put together. I look down at my daughter, her tiny hands now holding a stuffed bear, her favorite. She stares at it for a moment before pressing it to her chest. I smile, but the smile doesn't reach my eyes. It's the same smile I've been giving her every day, the one that says everything's okay, even though I don't believe it myself. She doesn't notice the weight of it, the unspoken truth in the air. She's too young to know the difference, but I wonder, one day, if she'll feel it. If she'll sense the space between us even when we're sitting side by side. I walk past the hallway again toward the bedroom. The door is slightly cracked open, just like it was the day she left. I stop for a moment, my fingers brushing against the doorframe. I can't bring myself to go inside. The bed is made, the sheets smoothed out, but the emptiness is still there, hovering over it like it's waiting for her to return. I reach for the light switch, but my hand lingers in mid-air. Something stops me. I don't know what I'm hoping for, but I don't turn it on. The room stays dark, just like the space around me. I'm learning to live with the silence, or maybe it's learning to live with me. Our Pringperhaster icon. It fills the spaces where she used to be. It's in the way I pick up her forgotten book from the coffee table, the way I hold it, and for a moment it feels like she's still here. But then I put it down again, and the silence returns, louder than before. I walk to the kitchen, the fridge hums softly in the background. I open it, pulling out a bottle of water. I stare at the label for a moment, the small, mundane task grounding me. It's strange how these little moments, these routine actions, start to feel like the only thing left that makes sense. I close the fridge door, and as I do, I catch a glimpse of the calendar hanging on the wall. The days are marked off, one by one. Each square a reminder that time is passing, even though it feels like it's standing still. I pause, staring at the date. It's been weeks now, weeks since she left. I can feel the weight of it, the slow crawl of days and nights, stretching on without anything to break the monotony. I walk back to the living room where my daughter is still playing on the floor. She's reached for another toy, her tiny fingers grasping at the shapes, her eyes wide with fascination. She doesn't see the things I see. She doesn't understand the change, but I can't help it. I see everything. The house is the same, and yet it's not. There are little things that remind me of her, little marks of a life that feels distant now. I wonder how long it will take for me to stop noticing them. Or maybe I won't ever stop. Maybe these small things will always be reminders of what's missing. I sit down beside her, pulling her into my lap. She rests against me, her small head fitting perfectly into the crook of my arm. The weight of her is comforting. But even in this moment, there's a part of me that's still missing. I wonder if she were here, would I feel this way? Would I still feel the distance, the quiet? Or is this just how things are now, how they've always been? The silence in the house settles again, but I hold my daughter a little tighter. I close my eyes, and for just a moment I can almost pretend that nothing has changed. But when I open them again, everything is still the same. The soft glow of the nightlight flickers against the walls. It's a quiet, steady light, the kind that makes shadows feel gentle, like they're part of the room instead of an intruder. I'm sitting beside her crib, watching as she drifts into sleep, her breath slow and even. Her tiny hand curls in and out, clutching at the soft blanket. I should have left the room by now. The night is heavy, and I've done this routine 100 times, tucked her in, kissed her forehead, and stepped away. But tonight I linger. I don't know why. My hand rests on her back just for a moment longer than usual. Her skin is warm beneath my fingers, soft. The rise and fall of her chest feels like a pulse against my palm. I wonder if I close my eyes, Taffen ten Foreman, if I can hold onto this moment forever. The weight of her in my arms, the quiet, the peace. But I can't. I pull my hand away, but the silence lingers. It's the kind of silence that wraps around you, thick and suffocating. I stand up slowly, the floor creaking under me like it remembers something it shouldn't. I look down at her one last time before I leave the room. She stirs, just slightly, and for a second, I wonder if she knows what's missing. If she feels the gap that's opened between us even as she sleeps. The mail arrives late this morning. I don't know why I'm surprised. It always comes at the same time. The letter sits on the kitchen counter waiting for me. I don't rush to open it. I almost don't want to. But I can't help it. I reach for the envelope, the edges crisp against my fingertips. It's addressed to her. Her handwriting is clear, familiar, even though it's been weeks since she left. There's no return address, just her name, written in the same careful way it always was. My eyes linger on the letters, tracing each one slowly, as if the paper might hold some sort of secret that I've missed. The envelope feels heavier than it should, but it's just paper, just ink. Still, I hesitate before I tear it open. When I do, the soft sound of the paper crinkling fills the quiet kitchen. I unfold it, the crease where it's been folded stiff beneath my fingers. The note inside is short, too short. Just a few lines scribbled on thin, yellowing paper. I'll be back soon. I need to do this for myself, don't worry. I feel the weight of the words settle in my chest. Don't worry. I wonder if she ever really believed that, or if she was just trying to convince herself. There's something about the tone of the letter, the finality in it, that makes my breath catch. It's a promise, but it doesn't feel like one. It's distant, like she's already preparing me for her absence to stretch longer than she's letting on. Like she's given herself an exit, a way out without needing to explain more. I crumple the paper slightly in my hand, feeling the fragile texture between my fingers. The words don't add up. She's been gone for weeks now, and yet it feels like I'm reading this for the first time. Why couldn't she tell me? And why couldn't she explain to me the way she felt, instead of sending something that feels like a goodbye in disguise? A question lingers on my tongue, but I can't say it. I can't even think it. What was the real reason behind her trip? UK. I let the paper slip from my fingers, falling softly back onto the table. My mind races, but my body stays still, like it's waiting for something to happen. I look at the letter again, but it doesn't change. It's still the same. It's just a letter, just a few words, and yet they hang in the air between us. A laugh. It cuts through the silence. I look up, my heart skipping, drawn to the sound. It's our daughter, her laughter bright and untainted, floating from the living room. The innocence in it feels so out of place in this moment, like a warm ray of sunlight shining through a cracked window. I don't even realize I've moved until I'm standing in the doorway, watching her small body bouncing in her little chair. She's holding one of her toys, laughing at it as if it's the funniest thing she's ever seen. It's a sound so pure, so carefree, that it stops me in my tracks. And for a moment, I just stand there listening. Her laughter is like the first breath of air after a storm, something so simple yet so beautiful. It fills the room, and for a second, it's like nothing else matters. The letter, the silence between us, the unanswered questions. They all fall away, drowned out by her giggle, but it doesn't last long. The weight of the letter presses back against me. The moment slips away, like water running through my fingers. I watch her for a while longer, trying to hold on to that piece of innocence, that lightness, but it doesn't last. I turn away, the sound of her laughter trailing behind me like a memory I can't reach. I go back to the table, the letter's still there, waiting for me to pick it up again, to make sense of it. But I can't make sense of it. I run my hand over the paper, feeling the texture beneath my palm, but it doesn't help. I still don't understand. I still don't know why she left or why she couldn't tell me what was really going on. Okay, I sit down slowly, my chair creaking beneath me. My eyes find the letter again, but this time they don't stay. They wander around the room instead, taking in the things she left behind, the coat hanging by the door, the mug on the counter, the half-empty bottle of lotion on the shelf. Each one feels like a reminder of what's missing, of what was here and now is not. Okay? The letter should have been the answer, but it's not. I hear her laughter again, this time louder, more insistent. She's talking to herself now, babbling happily, her little voice full of excitement at something she's discovered. I feel a pang in my chest, a sharp ache. How could everything feel so distant when she's right there? How could a simple letter make everything feel so heavy? I can hear her moving in the other room, her little feet pattering across the floor. It's a sound I'm used to, but tonight it feels louder. It's like the quiet in between has grown too wide, too stretched out. I look at the letter again, then down at my hands. I could throw it away. I could forget about it, let it fade into the pile of things that no longer matter. But it won't disappear. It's already there, between us. It's already changed something. And I pick it up again, but this time I don't try to read it. I hold it in my hands, feeling its weight. And for the first time since she left, I let myself feel the ache that comes with not knowing why, not knowing if I ever will. But as the silence settles again, I realize something. The letter isn't the answer. It's just a part of the story, one that I don't yet know how to finish. I stand up slowly, my legs stiff from sitting too long. The air feels cold again, like the house is holding its breath, waiting for something. I step into the living room. My daughter looks up at me, her eyes wide and bright, and for a moment she's the only thing that matters. I walk over to her, taking her small hands in mine. She giggles again, her laughter filling the room once more. I don't have the answers, and maybe I never will. But right now, as she laughs in my arms, it feels like I'm holding on to something that's still real. Something that hasn't changed. For now, it's enough, and for tonight, that will have to be enough. The phone rings. It sounds so out of place in the stillness of the morning that it almost startles me. I reach for it, my fingers brushing against the cold screen, a sharp contrast to the warmth of the house. The number is unfamiliar, but something in me knows. I don't even hesitate before I answer. Yunakin, her voice in Tanka. Her voice comes through softly, almost like she's afraid to break the silence that's settled in between us. "Hi," she says, her voice distant but familiar. I lean back against the kitchen counter, the sound of the refrigerator humming quietly behind me. It's a low, constant noise, like the world moving around us, even when we aren't. I close my eyes for a moment, listening to her, but it's different now. The words she speaks are the same, the usual pleasantries. Updates on her travels, the places she's seen, the people she's met, but it's like there's a layer between us now, one I can't quite reach. She tells me about the city she's in, how the streets are crowded, the buildings taller than she imagined. There's a faint echo of life around her. I can hear it in the background, the distant hum of voices, the soft chatter of strangers, but it feels far away. Even though she's speaking to me, even though her words are aimed at me, I can't quite grasp them. It's as if she's in another world, a world where I don't exist. And I wonder for the first time if she's already left that world behind. And I try to follow along, nodding even though she can't see me. My thumb runs over the edge of the phone, a small gesture to keep me grounded. But it doesn't work. The silence fills in between her words, and I can't shake the feeling that there's something she's not saying. Something she's holding back. Her words, though caring, don't hold the same weight they used to. I can hear it in the way she says my name, a little quieter, a little more distant. When we used to talk, her voice used to fill the space between us, wrapping me in warmth and familiarity. But now, it feels like a thin thread, stretching further and further with each passing moment. I ask her about the food, about the sights, trying to keep the conversation going, but even the small talk feels like it's losing its grip. She answers, but her voice lacks the eagerness it once had. It's there, yes, but it's muted like a photograph that's been left out in the sun for too long. All the colors fade, the edges blur. I find myself searching for something, anything, in her voice. A hint of the woman I knew, the woman who laughed at the smallest things, who spoke with conviction and warmth. But it's not there. The silence presses against me like a weight. The quiet between us becomes louder than the words we're exchanging. And she talks about the weather, about a cafe she visited, but her words are lost in the hum of the city behind her, and I find myself wondering if she's still speaking to me or if she's speaking to the space between us. I wait for something real, something that can break the silence, but it never comes. There's a long pause, the kind that's too long, the kind that asks for more than words. I think she's waiting for me to say something. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. Yen, I should go, she says after a moment, her tone quieter now. I have to meet someone. I don't know who she's meeting, and in a way I don't want to know, I don't want to ask. I want to hold on to this moment, the one where we're still connected by the sound of her voice. But I can't, it's slipping through my fingers like sand in the wind. Okay, I say the word too short, too final, I don't know what else to say. There's nothing else to say. I'll call you again, she adds, her voice strained now, as if she's already preparing herself for the goodbye. I don't respond immediately. The words are stuck in my throat, caught somewhere between wanting to ask her to stay on the line, to fill the silence with anything, and knowing it's too late for that. Okay, I say again, it's all I can manage. There's a pause on the other end, long enough to make me wonder if she's already moved on, if she's already thinking about something else. Maybe she's already forgotten what it was like to talk like we used to, when the conversation flowed easily, when there was no space between us. I'll be back soon, she says, and I can hear the uncertainty in her voice, the words not quite matching the feeling behind them. I wait for her to say something more, but there's nothing. Just the sound of her breathing, the soft rush of air on the line. Goodbye, she whispers, and then the line goes quiet. I stare at the phone, the screen still glowing in my hand. I don't know how long I stand there, holding it, feeling the weight of the silence she left behind. The hum of the refrigerator is louder now, the only sound in the house that seems to make sense. I set the phone down slowly, my fingers lingering on the edge of it. I could call her back. I could try to fill the empty space with more words, but I know it won't work. Kanakanar clashin. I walk to the window, looking out at the street below. The world is still moving out there. Cars drive by, people walk in and out of stores, but in here, everything feels still. The space she left behind feels bigger now, stretching farther than I can reach. The day has shifted somehow from a quiet morning to something heavier. The air feels thick with everything we never said, and I can't breathe it in. I hear our daughter laughing again from the other room, her voice light and unburdened, and it pulls me back into the present. I walk toward it, toward the sound of her joy, and for a moment, I let it fill the space between us. But the phone call lingers, a ghost in the room, a reminder of the distance that's grown between us. I don't know if it's the end of something or just the beginning of something new, but I feel the weight of it settling in, like the air before a storm. I sit down beside my daughter, her small hands reaching for me, and for a moment, the world outside fades away. But the silence stays, and I wonder if it'll always be this way now. The door is open, but she's not walking back through it. Not yet. I watch her from the corner of the living room, the quiet sound of her tiny feet pattering against the hardwood floor filling the room. She's standing now, her hands bracing herself against the coffee table, her chubby legs shaking just slightly as she takes her first step forward. A small, tentative step. And then another. I can hear her giggle, her voice still high-pitched, as light as the air in the room. She's so small, so innocent in the way she moves. Her world so new, so full of wonder. Each movement is a discovery. The joy in her face when she realizes she's done it, taken a step, moved further away from the comfort of the table. It's pure, uncomplicated. I smile, of course. I'm proud of her. But there's something else, something quiet underneath my smile. Something that's been there for days now, maybe even weeks. A small nagging feeling like a distant echo, something I can't quite place. She takes another step, her body wobbling, then steadying herself with a small grunt. I reach out, my hands hovering just in case she falls, but she doesn't. She makes it across the room. She's learned something new today, something I never could have taught her, something that only time could give her. canned. But as she turns to look at me, her eyes bright with pride, I'm not just seeing her, I'm seeing her mother. And I'm seeing the woman who left, who promised she would be back, who said she needed space. I don't know what she meant by that anymore. Was it just a pause? Or was it something more? Something that stretched beyond the words she said to me. I watch my daughter toddle over to a toy, her laughter still filling the space around her, but something inside me is quiet. It's the same silence that's been living in this house since the day she left. It presses in heavy and undeniable. It sits in the chair beside me, in the soft rustling of the curtains, in the way the world continues on outside while I'm still here, trying to piece together something I don't fully understand. I let out a slow breath trying to push it away, but it stays. She was supposed to come back. She was supposed to return to us, to me, but when she came back, she was different. It wasn't just the months of silence, the distance that stretched between us like a chasm too wide to bridge. It was something else, a look in her eyes, something I couldn't reach no matter how hard I tried. Something unspoken, something she never said. I can't stop wondering what happened to her out there, in the places she went, in the moments I wasn't there. I want to believe that it was just her needing time, needing a break, that she was just finding herself again like she said, but I can't shake the feeling that something changed, that she changed. Maybe it was a lie she told me all along. Maybe the space she needed was more than I could give, more than I could ever understand. I watch her again, my daughter, her hands reaching for another toy, her tiny fingers grasping at the plastic, her determination so clear, so unwavering. I want to hold on to her. I want to keep her just like this, safe and unaware of the world that's so much bigger than her. But I can't. She's growing, learning, and I can feel that shift in the air, the inevitable change. And that nagging feeling, the one that's been following me since she left, only grows stronger now. Was she already slipping away from me before she left? Was there something inside her that I never saw, something hidden behind the words she spoke? Did she need more than I could give? Or was I just blind to the signs that had been there all along? My mind spins and I reach for the edge of the couch to steady myself. My daughter doesn't notice. She's still lost in her own little world, still discovering things I can't even imagine. And for a moment, I want to believe that everything is as it should be. That the space between us, between me and her, and between me and her mother, is just temporary, just a blip. But I know it's not. She looks at me again, her eyes wide with that simple joy of accomplishment. She's proud of herself, and I want to share in that pride with her. But the smile that comes to my lips feels too small, too far away. Again, I reach for her, pulling her into my arms, holding her close. The weight of her against me feels right, but also too heavy. I think of her mother again. I think of the way she left, the words she said, the promises she made. And I wonder for the first time if we were always drifting, if this was always how it was supposed to be, her leaving, me staying. A slow burn until one day there's nothing left but the silence. My daughter squirms in my arms, eager to get back to her toy, to the world she's still figuring out. I let her go, watching her move away from me, her steps small and unsteady. She's growing, learning, moving towards something bigger than I can hold on to. And as I watch her, I realize that maybe that's what's been haunting me all along. That slow, inevitable movement away from me. She doesn't know it yet, but one day she'll have her own space. She'll have her own world, and I'll have to let her go. Just like I had to let her mother go. I close my eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of it all. The world outside is still moving, the same as it was before, but in here, it feels like time is slipping away, like the air is thick with things I'm not ready to face. I stand up, walking to the window, looking out at the street below. The light is fading now, the shadows growing longer. I don't know if things will ever go back to the way they were. I don't know if they ever could, but the night is coming, and for now, that's all I have. The silence, the space, the change, and the weight of the things I still don't understand can't. But for tonight, I let it stay. The door creaks, and I don't know why, but my heart skips. The familiar sound seems louder than usual, like it's echoing in the space between us. I look up, but I don't know what I'm expecting to see. She steps inside, and for a moment, everything goes still. Her eyes catch mine briefly, but there's something missing in that glance. Something that used to be there, but isn't anymore. She looks at the floor for a second, then at the walls, taking in the house like she's seeing it for the first time. It's her, but it's not. I stand in the living room, my hands resting by my sides, unsure of what to do, unsure of what to say. Our daughter is the first to move. She runs towards her, her little legs carrying her across the floor, her arms outstretched. Her laughter breaks the silence, light and eager, as she reaches for her mother. She's unbothered by the weight in the air, unaware of the things that have changed. But as she's scooped up, the moment feels hollow. There's no warmth in it, no ease. Just the motion of a mother holding her child, but not with the same feeling she used to. Yeah. Her face softens when she looks at our daughter, and for a moment, there's something there, something that looks familiar. But when she pulls her close, I see the way her arms don't quite hold her the way they once did. It's like the space between them has grown too, though our daughter will never know it. Cal, she sets her down, her gaze wandering around the room again. It's as if she's taking stock of everything, the furniture, the photos on the walls, the small things that never seemed so important before. She looks at it all, but it doesn't feel like she's looking at us. She's looking at something else. The woman who left is standing here, but she doesn't fit in the same space she used to. I can feel the shift. I can feel it in the way she moves through the house. I can feel it in the way she moves through the house, in the way her hands linger just a little too long on the doorframe, on the counter, as if testing the walls for something she no longer feels sure of. She's different, a little more distant, a little colder. I want to reach for her. I want to ask her where she's been, what she's seen, what's changed. But the words get stuck in my throat. They always do. Instead, I watch as she moves from room to room, her steps slower than before, like she's searching for something that's been lost. But what is it? What's missing? Our daughter toddles into the next room, chasing after a toy, completely unaware of the space growing between us. I should be following her, but I stay where I am, watching. She walks back toward me, her hands at her sides, her expression unreadable. She opens her mouth like she's about to say something, but nothing comes out. She just stands there, eyes flicking from me to the hallway, then to the kitchen. The silence is too loud now. You're back, I say, though it doesn't sound like a question. It's just the first thing I can think to say. It doesn't even feel like the right thing to say, but it's all I have. She nods once. Yeah. Her voice sounds softer now, almost hesitant. For a moment, we just stand there, each of us caught in the space between us. I'm waiting for something to happen, some kind of bridge to close the distance. But it doesn't come. The distance is still there, and it feels wider now than before. I want to ask her why everything feels different, why the words we used to say with ease now feel so foreign. But I can't bring myself to do it. Instead, I focus on the sound of our daughter laughing again, her joy echoing from the other room. It pulls me back, grounding me in the present. But it doesn't change the fact that we're not the same, not anymore. I look at her, watching the way she shifts her weight, her eyes lingering on the floor, like she's trying to find her place in a space that no longer fits. There's a finality in her presence now, a silence that feels louder than the words we're not saying. I wonder if she feels it too, the change, the slow shift, and everything that used to be steady. Has she been running from it, or has she been trying to find it? I feel a twinge of something, maybe regret, maybe fear, but it's all wrapped up in uncertainty. I wonder if this is it, the point where we finally stop pretending. I wonder if we're too far gone now. And she moves toward the window, her fingers grazing the curtains as she looks outside. I wonder if she's seeing the same thing she saw before, the same world we used to share. Or if everything has become foreign like the house itself. I take a step toward her, then stop. There's so much I want to ask, so much I need to know, but it feels like too much. I don't know how to ask the right questions anymore. Yet you've changed, I say instead, my voice barely above a whisper. She doesn't turn to face me, but I see her shoulders stiffen just slightly. Her breath catches, but she doesn't answer right away. She doesn't hatches, but she doesn't answer right away. She doesn't have to. I already know the answer. Yeah, she nods, but it's not a full agreement, it's a resignation. I'm sorry, she says softly, her voice barely audible over the hum of the house. I don't know what happened. I just needed time to breathe. I feel the weight of her words, but they don't make anything clearer. They don't bring back what we've lost. For a moment, the house is still. I don't know what I'm waiting for, an explanation, a reason, a sign that things will somehow be okay again. But it doesn't come. Instead, she looks at me one last time, her eyes meeting mine with a quiet sadness. Then she turns away, her steps slow and deliberate as she walks down the hallway toward the bedroom. I stand there, frozen, feeling the space between us stretch further. The door closes softly behind her, and I wonder, as the silence settles back in, if we'll ever find our way back. Or if, somewhere along the way, we've both already slipped away from each other, and I wait. For what, I don't know. The sound of her laughter fades as she disappears into the other room, and I'm left standing there. The air between us feels thick, almost like it's holding something back, something we both know but can't speak of. The weight of it settles into the house like an unwanted guest, and I don't know how to make it leave. I sit at the kitchen table, the light from the window spilling across the floor in slivers. The day outside is still, the sky a muted gray that feels too close, too heavy. I stare at the cup in front of me, the steam rising from it, curling into the air like it's trying to escape. She's back, but it doesn't feel like it. Her Kenka, our daughter, plays in the corner of the room, her little hands busy with a toy. She doesn't understand. She's caught in the middle of something she can't possibly grasp. The silence between her mother and me feels so large, so wide, that I wonder if she feels it too. Vermadlyav and Tuchuriash. She's too young, but the tension hangs in the air like it's something that can be felt, even if it isn't said. I can't help but think back to the promise I made to myself when she left. It wasn't a promise to her, not really. It was a promise I made alone, in the quiet of the nights after she left. I swore to myself that I would hold this house together, that I would keep everything in place until she came back. But she's back now, and nothing feels the way it used to. The silence between us is louder than any words we've exchanged. The small conversations we've had since her return are clipped, hurried, filled with 1,000 things unsaid. The usual pleasantries are still there, but they don't carry the same weight anymore. They're just motions, just words to fill the space. There's no warmth behind them, no connection. She sets the plates on the table, her movements careful, like she's afraid of making too much noise. I can hear her, but it feels like I'm hearing her from a distance. I'm not sure if it's the distance between us that makes it feel this dot way, or if she's already a little further away than she used to be. The soft clink of the silverware against the plates pulls me back to the present. I glance up at her, but her eyes are elsewhere, not on me, not on us. Kukang. The air grows heavier with every passing second. I look at our daughter again. She's so small, so unaware. Her little giggles fill the room, the innocence of it almost painful. She's caught in the middle of something she doesn't understand, a world she's still figuring out, and yet she's already a part of something so much bigger than she knows. I wish I could protect her from it all, from the silence, from the distance between her mother and me. But I can't. I've tried, but there's no holding back the things that are already slipping through the cracks. I glance at the clock. The minutes stretch by, dragging their feet. It's the same feeling I've had for days now, the sensation that time is moving too slowly, that it's all going to pass me by before I can understand it. She sits down across from me, her hands resting on the table, fingers folded together. She looks at me, but it's not the same look. Odd app the way she shows. It's not the way she used to look at me, like she could see everything, like she could feel it all. Now there's a distance in her eyes, a distance I can't close. We eat in silence, the clink of the silverware against the plates louder than anything we might say. She doesn't speak unless she has to, and when she does, it's just a few words, a quick answer to a question that didn't matter. The things we never said, the words that were left behind, hang in the air like an unfinished song. They linger unspoken, like they're waiting for the right moment. But there's no right moment anymore. The song is over before it ever started. I remember the promise I made. It wasn't just to keep the house together, to hold on until she came back. I copied bloody Minaman, sir. It was a promise to myself that I wouldn't let go, that I wouldn't let us fall apart. But she's back now, and I feel like I'd been holding my breath for too long. I wonder if she feels the same way, if the space between us is as noticeable to her as it is to me. And was it the right decision? Was it the right thing to promise? To wait? The weight of that question presses down on me, but I can't bring myself to ask her. I'm afraid of the answer. I'm afraid of what she might say. I watch her carefully, her eyes flickering between the table and her plate, her movements slow and deliberate, like she's afraid of disturbing something fragile. I want to reach for her, to tell her that it's okay, that we can fix this, that we can find a way back to where we were. But I don't. I just sit there watching her, feeling the silence stretch between us, the space growing larger with each passing moment. After dinner, she clears the table, her movements mechanical. The sound of the dishes clattering against each other fills the quiet, but it doesn't break it. It just adds to it. I stand up, pushing my chair back quietly. I walk to the window, my hands resting on the sill as I look out at the world beyond. The night is coming, the sky darkening in shades of blue and purple. The world outside moves on, the sounds of the street below drifting up to the window. But inside, everything is still I can hear her in the other room, moving about, but she doesn't come to join me. The space between us is palpable, heavier than the weight of the night outside. The Kundasamian. The sound of our daughter's laughter echoes again, and for a moment, it feels like everything is as it should be. But I know it isn't. Not anymore. I close my eyes, my fingers tightening around the windowsill. The weight of the promise I made, the weight of everything that's unsaid, sits heavy on me. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to fix what's broken. The silence remains, settling in around me, filling the spaces she used to occupy, and I wait for something, for anything, but the silence stretches on, unbroken. The clock on the wall ticks quietly, its hands moving slowly, like it's trying to make sense of the time that's slipped away. I sit at the kitchen table, the morning light filtering in through the window. It's soft, almost as if the world outside is holding its breath. The room is still, but inside me, everything feels restless. The silence that's been living between us for weeks is growing, stretching, and today it feels like it might finally break. Can I hear her footsteps from the hallway? They're slow, measured, like she's not sure whether she should come into the room. I don't look up at first. I keep my hands folded in front of me, my fingers running over the worn surface of the table. It's a small act, but it feels familiar. Qdeit Hasras and Hebers to Dao familiar Haber. Something to keep me grounded in the stillness. She doesn't speak when she enters. She never does anymore. The air is thick with it, that weight of years of unsaid things, of promises and regrets hanging between us. It's the kind of silence that doesn't need words to be loud, the kind that makes you feel like you're drowning, even in the quiet. She stands by the doorway for a moment, just watching me, but not in the way she used to. There's no comfort in her gaze now, no warmth. She's here, but she's not really with me. Not in the way we used to be. Then, without a word, she sits down across from me. I can see the faint traces of exhaustion under her eyes. She looks different, like the weight of everything she's been carrying has finally caught up with her. She's not the woman who left, and she's not the woman who came back. She's someone else, someone I don't know how to reach. The room is silent again, but it's a different kind of silence now. One that feels heavy with anticipation, like something is about to happen. I wait for her to speak, but she doesn't. Instead, she reaches for her coffee, her hands trembling just slightly as she brings it to her lips. She sets it down carefully, almost like she's afraid of disturbing the air between us. I watch her waiting for her to break, and she does. It's in the way her eyes flicker toward mine, the way the words finally spill out. "I've been thinking," she says, her voice soft but steady, like she's already rehearsed it 100 times, "about what happened, about everything." Her words are a slow drip, each one heavier than the last. I can feel the weight of them before they even leave her mouth. She's been holding this back, hiding it from me, hiding it from both of us. And now it's all coming out, spilling into the space between us, Europe. "It wasn't what I thought it would be," she continues, her voice cracking just a little. "I thought it would help me figure things out, help me breathe again, but it didn't. It didn't make anything clearer. It just made everything more confusing." I sit quietly, letting her words settle between us. They don't feel like a confession, they don't feel like a revelation, they just feel tired. Like she's saying them because she has to, not because she wants to. "I met people," she adds, her eyes drifting away. "I found new things, new ideas, things I didn't know I needed. But the whole time I kept thinking about you, about this place, and what it used to be." Her words hang in the air, thick with something I can't quite place. There's no anger, no outbursts. Just the weight of it all, sitting there like a silent truth we've both been avoiding. Yeah, I want to say something, to ask her what she means, but the words get stuck in my throat. I already know the answer. I've known it all along. "I needed something more than I thought I did," she says quietly, her gaze fixed on the table between us. "Something I couldn't get here. Not from you, not from us." Her voice drops at the end, like she's ashamed to admit it, but she doesn't look up. She doesn't need to. I can hear the truth in her words, and it's too much to ignore. Again, I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "What do you need now?" I ask the question, coming out softer than I meant it to. She doesn't answer right away. Instead, she sits there, her fingers tracing the edge of her cup. It's like she's looking for something in the space between us, something she can't find. "I don't know," she says finally. Her voice is small, uncertain. "I don't know if I can fix what's broken." Enkanat. The weight of her words falls between us like a stone. I can feel the space between us growing, stretching further with each passing second. She doesn't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. And I'm not sure we ever can. I want to tell her it's not too late, that we can still make this work, that we can still find our way back to each other. But I can't. The words feel empty now, like promises I've already broken to myself. "I think I'd been running from something," she says, her voice barely above a whisper, "but I don't know what it is." I watch her for a long moment, her face soft, worn from the weight of the things she's carried, and I realize in that instant that we've both been running from the truth, from the silence that's grown between us, from the things we were never brave enough to say. Ka. The truth unfolds between us, slow and quiet like the last breath of a dying ember. And I wonder if we can still find a way to move forward, if it's even possible to rebuild something that's already shifted so far out of our reach. Nah. But then she looks up, her eyes meeting mine for the first time in what feels like forever. The silence that's been building between us settles into something else now. Something fragile, but real. I'm sorry, she says, and for the first time it sounds like she means it. I nod slowly, but I don't speak. There's nothing more to say, not yet. The words feel like they would break the fragile moment we're sharing. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough for now. She stands up quietly, moving toward the door, but stops just before she leaves. She glances back at me once, her eyes soft with something I can't quite understand. And then she's gone again, the door clicking softly behind her. I sit there, alone in the silence she's left behind. The weight of the conversation lingers in the air like smoke, filling the space around me. I don't know if we're still fighting for something that's already gone, or if we're finally beginning to let go. But for now, the silence stays, and I wait. The floor creaks under the weight of our steps, soft and slow like the house remembers each one of them. We sit down together, side by side, on the couch. The space between us is smaller now, but still, it feels too wide. Her presence beside me doesn't bring the comfort I thought it would, but it doesn't feel like a burden either. It just is. Our daughter plays in the corner of the room. Her laughter, light and carefree, floats toward us, filling the space with something innocent, something pure. She's so small, still figuring out the world around her. The toys in her hands, the only things that matter right now. I watch her, but I don't really see her, not in the way I should. Instead, my eyes keep drifting back to the woman beside me. The one who came back, but not the way I thought she would. The one who still carries the weight of the space between us, though we're closer now than we've been in weeks. The silence between us is quiet but heavy, like it's been here for a lifetime, waiting for us to fill it. But neither of us speaks, and neither of us moves. We sit there, watching our daughter, each lost in the quiet rhythm of the moment. She's right there, but she's not, and I don't know how to fix that. I glance at her out of the corner of my eye. Her hands are resting on her knees, her fingers twitching slightly, like she wants to reach for something but doesn't know what. There's something different in her. It's not the same feeling I used to have when I could feel her energy beside me, when I could feel her thoughts without even asking. Now, there's a softness in her eyes, but it's distant. Not cold, but far away, like she's still somewhere else. Our daughter squeals, reaching for something just out of her grasp. She doesn't see the way we're sitting, each of us trying to act like everything's fine. She doesn't feel the silence that's pulling at the edges of our home. She's still too small to know the difference, but I feel it. I feel the weight of everything that hasn't been said, of everything we're not talking about. There's a quiet understanding between us now, a shared acknowledgement that we can't go back to what we were, can't undo what's been done. And yet here we are, side by side, trying to piece together something that doesn't quite fit anymore. The soft hum of the refrigerator fills the room, the ticking of the clock on the wall, too loud in the quiet. I try to focus on the sound of our daughter's laughter, on the way she reaches for the toy and finally gets a hold of it. But the silence between me and her mother is so thick, so palpable, that it drowns out everything else. Yo cow. I shift in my seat, glancing over at her. She doesn't meet my gaze. She's looking straight ahead, her eyes focused on the wall, her lips slightly parted as if she's going to say something but never does. What happens next? I ask softly, almost without thinking. The question hangs in the air for a long time. It's not the question I thought I'd ask, but it's the one that slipped out, the one that felt right. What happens next? What do we do now? She doesn't answer right away. She just sits there, her hands still resting on her knees, her gaze steady but distant. For a moment, it's like she hasn't heard me, like the question didn't matter. But then she shifts, turning slightly toward me. I don't know, she says quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know what's next. Her answer is so simple, so final, that I feel a weight settle in my chest. It's not the answer I wanted, but it's the one I've been expecting. We're not the same. The space between us is too wide, too deep to fill with empty promises or words that don't mean anything anymore. There's no resolution here, no easy fix, and I realize as I sit beside her that maybe I don't need one. Maybe the hardest part isn't fixing what's broken, maybe it's learning to live with the pieces. And the clock ticks again, the second hand moving just a little too quickly. I watch it for a moment, feeling the weight of time passing. Outside, the wind stirs the branches of the trees. The world keeps moving, keeps turning, even as we sit here, uncertain of what comes next. I glance over at our daughter again, her small hands now holding a stuffed bear, her eyes focused on it like it's the only thing that matters. She giggles, turning it over in her hands as if it's a new discovery. It's simple, it's pure. And for a moment I feel a small pang in my chest. The world feels heavy, but her laughter, her innocence, pulls me back. She doesn't know the weight of what we're carrying. She doesn't feel the space between us. But she fills the room with something that feels real, something that feels like it still belongs. I look at her mother, the woman sitting beside me. She hasn't moved, she hasn't said anything, but her presence is there. It's quieter now, but it's there. The silence between us stretches again, and I feel it. I feel the distance, the ache of it. But I also feel something else, something I didn't expect. A kind of peace. Not the peace of resolution, but the peace of acceptance. Of knowing that things don't always have to be fixed, that sometimes the quiet is the only answer. Our daughter shifts in her seat, looking over at me with wide eyes, and I smile. It's small, but it feels right. The smile isn't a promise. It's not a promise to fix everything or to make things better. It's just a smile, simple and honest. She reaches for the toy again, and I reach for her, lifting her into my lap. She snuggles against me, her little hands resting on my chest. I hold her close, feeling the warmth of her body against mine. I don't know what comes next. I don't know if we'll ever be what we were, but for now, I'm here. We're here. And for the first time in a long while, it feels like that might be enough. Mika, the silence settles in again, but this time it's different. This time it's not as heavy. It's just the quiet of a family trying to find its way. The weight of the past isn't gone, but it feels more bearable now. And as I sit there holding my daughter, I know we're moving forward, slowly, but we're moving. What happens next? What I appreciate by for Sneppery. What happens next? I don't know, but for now, I'm here, and that's enough, at least for today.